Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to give me this after each sentence? Well, we need a change. We have heard that from Obama, we have heard that from McCain. But you heard this morning that Immunotec is making the change. Immunotec is always one step ahead, right? Now, a part of all the change, there are certain things which remain constant. Immunotec has been a science-based company, and it will remain a science-based company. I mean, many of you may remember half a year ago in January, we have had a press release where we announced that we successfully completed the first placebo-controlled clinical trial of Immunotec, and that we have successfully published the results of that trial in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. Now, I think it's quite clear that placebo-controlled clinical trials are the gold standard of any test of the effectivity of a health product. I recently saw in the website of another company that they also announced that they have completed a clinical trial and that they are planning to publish that in a peer-reviewed journal. That reminds me of people saying, well, my candidate will be the next president of the United States. 50% of the people who are saying that are wrong, inevitably. And I bet my boots that this may also apply to other people saying, I plan to publish this in a peer-reviewed journal. We did it, we have accomplished it, and we are again one step ahead of anybody else. I think that's quite important. Now also, as Ken mentioned, we're actually successful in getting the approval of the government for a claim that Immunocal is effective in maintaining a strong immune system. I think this is important because, again, no other companies can make that claim. Again, we are ahead of anybody else. I think Immunocal has many different health benefits, and at Immunotec we are pursuing, in fact, the various different health benefits which have not yet been fully exploited. But its benefits for the immune system are still probably the most important one. You all know that the benefit for the immune system is based on the fact that the immune system needs a certain level of glutathione. And we have shown many years ago, in fact 10 years ago, back at my department at Heidelberg, that the level of the cysteine precursor, the glutathione precursor cysteine, decreases with age. It starts already at age 30 and decreases way to the 9th and 10th decade of life. That is the reason why the older we are, the more we are likely to see the immediate difference if you take Immunocal. We see the immediate benefits of taking Immunocal. Well, there is, of course, this young 25-year-old healthy subject, a young man, let's say, who has this practically optimal level of glutathione and who is taking Immunocal for a couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and he will tell us that he doesn't feel any difference. Whether he takes it or not, it doesn't make a difference. So as a pragmatic person, I normally would say, well, if you don't see a difference, then stop taking it. Why are you taking it? Well, but on the basis of my work in Heidelberg, I know that there is a different truth. We have studied these healthy, young persons with relatively high, that means optimal levels of glutathione and cysteine. And we found, in fact, that they have optimal levels of glutathione most of the time, but once in a while, for unknown reasons, they showed a significant decrease in glutathione. And interestingly, each of these episodes of decreasing glutathione was associated with a decrease in immune cells. So the young healthy subjects don't feel this. This is not really something they know about. They eventually get, once in a while, the common cold. That is because of this. But they get over it. So do they need Immunotec? Well, in our modern times of globalization, the real hazards come from far away, like HIV infection, SARS, Asian flu virus, and so on. And the incidence of these global epidemics increases with time. And due to the rapid transport systems, the epidemics which are generated, let's say, in East Asia, get into the airplane to San Francisco, to New York, and eventually they are in the middle of us. And here is the young, healthy, poor guy, and here is the virus. And you just ask yourself, will this virus hit this person at the time when his immune cells are down? Well, fortunately, this person took Immunotec in time, so his immune cells stayed up. And that is, the lesson from that is that we should be prepared. Even the young, healthy person should be prepared for the worst, because he doesn't know in advance when he will need it. That's the lesson. Even if you think you don't need it, be assured, even that young, healthy subjects need it. Now, the second point I want to address, as I said, there are many different health benefits. I cannot address all of it, but there is a relatively new aspect, an exciting aspect, which I want to share with you, which has nothing to do with glutathione. It has something to do with protein synthesis. That's the second major benefit from Immunotec. You all know that we lose muscle mass and muscle function with age. It starts already at age 30, and our muscle function declines. And eventually, at the age of 70, 75, 80, 85, it becomes so severe that we are not able to visit our friends anymore. This process, which is called sarcopenia, severely compromises our quality of life, and it causes substantial psychological stress, and by the way, it also causes financial burden. Now, if you look at the details, the loss of muscle mass means, in essence, a loss of protein, because the most important constituents of our muscles are the proteins. And 50% of our body protein is actually located in the muscle. So this loss of muscle mass means a tremendous loss of protein for our body. So what could we do about it? Of course, we need to take in more protein to compensate this. Of course, if you go to the plastic surgeon and ask him to inject 5 packs of Immunotec into your biceps to increase your protein content of your muscle, you all know that that doesn't work. You have to eat the protein, you have to digest it, break down the protein into all the little amino acids, the brick stones of protein synthesis from which eventually you build up your own proteins. Now what you do is you eat your protein. Eventually you try to eat a lot of protein in order to build up a lot of muscle mass. But the problem is you're sitting at your desk in the office most of the time, or you are sitting in the chair and watching television, and your muscle is lazy and doesn't incorporate all the amino acids which are carried in your blood. And the only way to stimulate your muscle actually to become active and to increase the synthesis of new protein is to move your muscles, to do some exercise, to do some workout, at least a certain minimum. A brisk walk with your dog will already do a lot, or a bike ride with your son, or ideally an hour of work in the fitness club. But you need to inspire your muscle to do protein synthesis. And now comes something very, very important, and please listen. This activity of your muscle for increased protein synthesis lasts only for a short period of time, only a couple of hours. And that is when you want to have your amino acids in your blood, your brick stones of protein synthesis. Now, if you take any protein, let's say casein, and eat it, it lays in the stomach and releases the amino acids very slowly over a period of 7 hours or more. It's a slow release formula. Immunotec, due to its structural and functional properties, is unique in that within 2 hours after consumption of Immunotec, you get this high peak of amino acids in your blood within 2 hours after consumption. And now you can nicely arrange that that peak coincides with the protein synthesis after your exercise. That means you should take Immunotec immediately before or after the exercise. Not early in the morning, not late in the evening. You should take it in conjunction with the exercise. Now the interesting point, of course, is you should take 1 pouch of Immunotec early in the morning to feed your immune system, because the immune system needs it after the overnight starvation. But in addition, somewhere during the day, you should do at least some bit of workout and have your Immunotec, another amount of Immunotec after the exercise. The amount should be about 10 to 30 grams, depending on your body weight and the intensity of your exercise. Now there is one thing very amazing you will realize immediately. The young person is very much focused on his fitness, and he will do his exercise, but he usually doesn't care for his immune system. And the people of the more advanced age are just the opposite. They care for the immune system, but they somehow ignore the needs of their muscle. The fact is that we all, young and old, have essentially the same needs. We should take 1 pack of Immunotec in the morning to feed our immune system, and then have our exercise somehow during the day, and have another amount of Immunotec after the exercise. With slight differences in detail, This applies to young and the old. Now let me make some last little statement about this wonderful protein, which was pioneered more than 20 years ago by our legendary Gustavo Bonus. He not only generated Immunotec, but he was also the first to show the health benefits, notably the benefits for the immune system. And I know that quite a few amongst you experienced already the rewarding feeling that they gave Immunotec to some friends or colleagues or other people in a severe health condition, and saw how the health improved and the strength and energy increased. Now these are very rewarding moments, and they are rewarded by a feeling of gratitude. I wish all of you, sooner or later, that you get the feeling that you are doing something good. Not only something good for your bank account, but you are doing something good for the people, for your friends, for the colleagues, for the neighbors of your friends. If you succeed to do that, you can be really proud of yourself. Thank you very much.